The moment I knew I was a classic overthinker, I was in the living room and I had an idea for a task I wanted to go and do. Got up off the couch and I made it about 5 steps until I had completely forgotten what I was supposed to do. Now, this wasn't the first time that this has happened. This is when I knew overthinking was starting to become a problem. Overthinking seems to be one of the most global struggles that is happening right now. And it seems to only be getting worse. But luckily, there are actually some pretty simple steps and practices that we can actually do to implement into our lives to get us out of the mind and into the present. The mind only works in the past and in the future. It is never in the present moment. Every time I realized that I had been pulled away into the mind space, it was always to do with a past experience or some sort of future possible outcome that I was planning or just diving into. Hopefully that I might stumble across this sometime in my life and that it would help. The first step, just like any of these types of practices, is awareness, is realizing when and how these are actually working in your life. For me, I actually started to figure out just how powerful the mind was because big chunks were being taken out of my day and night because I was diving so deep into this mind fantasy that I was creating. During the day, I started to notice that my mind, my memory, was actually getting a little worse. I was starting to lose my phone, my wallet, keys, and all of these little things. And I started to realize that I was actually just spending so much of my day in the mind space that I wasn't actually there. I wasn't actually present. So when I came to trying to find my phone or my wallet or whatever it was, I would have no recollection of actually being able to find it or being able to know where I last used it because I wasn't technically there. And at night, I was actually starting to struggle with sleep more. Once I'd fallen asleep, I'd never ever had a problem. But I started to notice that trying to get to sleep was getting worse. I would spend hours and hours just kind of tossing and turning, just trying to get to sleep. And both during the day and in the night, all of these things was actually to do with just me diving in to this mind space and spending so much time in my own head. When we start to go into the present state, when we start to get away from overthinking, all of the opposite things start to happen. We start to gain better memory. We start to have better quality sleep because we're not constantly at the mercy of the mind state. We're not in this fantasy that we're creating of past experiences or future possible outcomes. I also noticed that my energy levels start to dramatically increase and that spending all the time creating these future fantasies and also just spending so much time in the past is actually depleting your energy. It takes energy to create it. And there's actually a very interesting quote that says, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And that is so true for this statement, is wherever you put your attention, all of your energy starts to go there. And if all your attention is going into overthinking, it's just going to completely take away from your energy levels, your memory, sleep, just things like that, things that I've experienced myself, and there would be dozens and dozens more. So how do we stop overthinking? Well, there's actually a really simple practice, really, really simple, and that is all to do with the breath. The moment that you start to pull your attention away from your mind and to your breath, you're taking it from thinking to your body. You're taking it to the present state. And it's a very, very easy practice to do. It just takes a little bit of time because you have to keep going back and forth every single time you lose track of your thoughts. Now, there's a simple technique that I like to use, which I actually kind of got from a pranic healing book, which I really, really like. very, very simple. You keep your natural breathing rhythm, a relaxed breathing rhythm. But all you're going to do is you're going to focus on putting a pause of 1 or 2 seconds at the end of your inhale and at the end of your exhale. And what it really starts to do is it starts to really just ground yourself into just such a very present state. So anytime that you're seeing or noticing that yourself is going into this overthinking patterns, like for example, when I was on the couch and I got up and I just forgot completely, go back to the breath. Those are the types of moments where you just need to just go back to the breath and you just start to train yourself to be present more of the time. And if you're serious about stopping overthinking, there's a state of being which you can create where overthinking cannot exist. And a little bit of this has got to do with Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now. It's an amazing book. And what he kind of teaches is 2 sort of practices to kind of simplify it. One, he talks about entering your inner body as being aware and conscious of your inner body. And secondly, using all of your senses all together consciously. How I like to explain it is the very first Avatar movie, when he is for the first time experiencing what it's like to actually be in that new body. It's taller, stronger, faster, and just better in every way. And this gives an idea of what it's like to actually just be present with the inner body. Is walking around and just being completely present with your whole body, head, torso, arms, and legs, and being present of it at all times. The second part of the movie is when he goes to the planet for the first time and he experiences a whole new world. The colors, the shapes, the sounds, the textures, all the different senses. It's a conscious sensory overload. And this is very similar to what he's talking about as well. When you combine being present with the body and existing in a conscious state of all your senses combined, when you are these things, you are purely present. And when you are in the state, overthinking cannot exist. For this practice, it's best to do it on a weekend, a day that you're not too busy. Essentially, it's like living as if that day was your first day on earth. You want to just be noticing and sensing everything while just being present in your whole body, how your whole body is moving. And this state is our most natural state that we should all be in. This is the state where you're not in the mind. And that is how you live without overthinking. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe because there'll be more coming your way, and I'll see you on the next one.